Okay, this is my review of the Tuff Performance Extreme Lighting 2x2 4A LED spotlight. As you can see, that's the box it comes in, made in China. Top pieces. These can be found on Tuff Stuff's website. You see here, Tuff Stuff's accessories. They recommend using truck and winch, which is this company here. Retails on their website for $49.99. You can find these on Amazon. Actually, for full retail price, $65. So it's cheaper to buy them on their website. It's free shipping, or no, $13.50 for shipping. Same with it, Amazon. So it's cheaper to go with the direct buy. Back to this, there are a few issues I've found with this. If you look at the top here, it says 16 watt 90 degree off-road use only. That's the only, there it says 16 watt LED. It's the only marking on the packaging. Everywhere it says 16 watts. Now if you go to Tuff Stuff's website, notice here it says power draw 90 watts, current draw is 4.8 amps at 12 volts, 2.24 amps at 24 volts. Now if you actually do the math, that works out to be about 60 watts, a little under 60 watts, about 57 watts of power. So I don't know where they're getting 90 watts, and I certainly don't know where they're getting 16 watts. I actually ordered 2 of these and already opened one, hooked it up, and it's definitely not 16 watts. So yeah, they do sell a kit if you want to buy multiples. The $49.99 price is the price for a single light, not 2 lights. So if you want 2, this is the price for 2 plus a harness, which is not what I ordered, but what I got, which is cool because I didn't order a harness specifically, but got one, which was nice. Especially as, if you can see here, they show these Deutsch connectors, DT connectors, and as you'll see when I open the box, yeah, those aren't the right connectors. So yeah, there's a little inconsistencies between product and descriptions and power features. I have emailed Tuff Stuff about the power issue, about what it's actually rated for. I have not received an email back, so yeah, maybe I'll update it if they ever email me back. I doubt they will, given the fact that you can find these lights pretty much anywhere, especially looking at, if you look at the actual light, look at that design. Yeah, we'll notice when I unbox them, these are pretty generic looking, and I believe that is done for a reason. A lot of these come from China and probably from the same factory. So if you buy them from eBay, you'll probably get the same LED. These are warranted, so that's the reason why I spent a little bit more money getting them in case they do break, because there is an 18th month exclusive warranty, which I don't know what that means, exclusive. But I guess if they break, maybe I can return them. Anyway, opening the box here. Let's see my nice keyboard there. Comes pretty well packed. This is the connector. As you can see, is not the Deutsch connector. Fair enough. It's got O-ring seals. Maintains the IP67 waterproof rating, which is just about good enough for rain. I mean, you can actually submerge these connectors. I don't plan on going through streams or ponds with my vehicle because I'm not hooking this to an off-road vehicle. Comes with supplied hardware, all stainless, which is very nice considering it's supposed to be mounted outside. You get one bolt and nut and a lock washer for the mounting to your vehicle. Two stainless steel Allen cap screws and lock nuts for mounting the bracket to the light. Well packed, especially considering they were packed loose in the box. So pretty much guaranteed not to, even if it's jostled around, it's probably going to be fine. Now, the one I've already opened and played with here. You can see it's got the Tuff Stuff logo on it. Pretty black, pretty generic. One thing I did notice, you can see if it focuses in there, LEDs are not centered in the cones. Won't make a difference in the light output, but is slightly annoying for people with OCD like myself, because damn, it's not straight. So you can see the connector. This is where I was talking about being kind of a generic light. It's the rear is supposed to act as a heat sink. You have your Deutsch connector. Now, one thing I did notice that I'm not particularly fond of, if you look, you can see down in there, focus, you can see the lock washer or the lock nut and the Allen head cap screw. Problem with this arrangement is that while it'll work, it's meant to have the cutout hold the nut while you tighten the cap screw down. Problem with that is you cannot get a wrench in there, and that cutout is a little loose. So if you tighten down real hard on there, especially with this lock washer or lock nut, you'll run into the problem of it'll slip. So you may end up having to jam a screwdriver in there to keep it from moving around while you tighten this up. Otherwise, I mean, it's a decent bracket, depending on, you know, what your plans on with it. I mean, given the weight of this, one lock nut or lock washer and a nut might not be sufficient to hold this in. Like it's a very heavy unit. It's solid aluminum. So personally, I'm not mounting it with the included hardware, mainly because I have a weird situation with my vehicle. I'm actually using stainless hardware that I purchased separately. Now, the wiring harness. This is what you get with the wiring harness. It's fairly well done. There's not anything particularly impressive here. I mean, it is nice that you get the connectors, so you don't have to worry about making connectors. The only problem I have with these is they're very large, especially when you consider the wire and where you might have to run this though. So you might have to think about that when if you try to route this through a bumper. That is a big damn connector. If you drill a hole this big through a bumper, you will see it, and you will see it a lot. So depending on my situation, I may or may not have to cut these apart because it just might not work for me. Pretty standard relay, 12 volt, 40 amp relay, more than enough for 2 of these lights, considering they should only pull about 5 amps with both of them. Not super heavy gauge wire. It's decent. It'll work. The switch, pretty cheap switch. Comes with sticky back tape, double stick tape. Would probably work for most people. It's not a very good switch. When I hooked this up and tested it, I noticed that there was a lot of bounce on the turn on mode. So there's two lights there. You click it, you turn it on, click, you turn it off. The lights illuminate, which the red LED illuminates if the lights are off, which at night, if you have this mounted somewhere where it's visible, it's a very bright LED, can be kind of annoying. But when you flip it on, there's a lot of bounce, because you can get a lot of momentary bounce on this switch. So you'll notice the lights kind of will blink on you on and off. You have to very authoritative, like if you kind of a little iffy on the button, it'll blink on you. I plan on cutting this off because I'm wiring it to the fog lights already installed on my vehicle that aren't very bright, but I just want to replace. Comes with a fuse and fuse holder pre-installed, 30 amp fuse, pretty standard automotive fuses, just blade fuse, green in there. Comes with this is so you can take the switch apart, just a standard connector. Like I said, I'm not planning on using the switch, so I'll probably just cut it all out anyway. And just wire it in, because I'm just planning on, if my fog lights are on my vehicle, these are going to be on. So that includes the hardware portion. Plan on installing these. We'll add that part to at least when they're installed, to see how bright they are compared to stock lights. So that will be next. Alright, so this is the fog lights mounted. Didn't intend on putting them on a bull bar, but when I originally went to mount them, I was going to mount them down here in this frame, but when I did that, when I was going to do that, it was going to stick out too far, and I thought it would look funny, so mounted them, bought this bull bar, mounted them, also bought a 12-inch bar. Review that if anybody's interested. It's an Honest lamp, 12-inch, supposedly 12,000 lumens. Don't know. But you'll notice the fog lights are actually mounted pretty much straight out. That's because when I was adjusting them that the lights tended to be very cone shaped. So they actually have a lot of upper dispersion. So if you're driving along, you actually illuminate trees in the distance, signs in the distance. They work really good, but it's a very diffused beam. So, but being this low, I think most people mount them. They were designed to be mounted up on by the window. But if you mount them this low, you tend to have a lot of dispersion onto the ground. So if you aim them up more, you end up with a better throw for the lights. So that's the bull bar. It's I'll have to remember. I'll have to annotate the bull bar name. It's not a very expensive brand. Out of California. Pretty good quality. It's not a Weston or anything, but it looks nice and it's functional. So next up will be the lights at night. Alright, so this is going to be a test on the brightness. The camera is actually picking up the headlights a little bit better than they actually are. These are the daytime running lights. Fortunately, with this Toyota, I cannot turn them off. And since the way I have the high beams done with the 12-inch bar, if I disable the daytime running lights, it turns the high beams on and they just stay on. So anyway, so this is the daytime running lights. I'm gonna turn the headlights. So that's the headlights, daytime running lights. So here's your headlights. Looks better in the camera, like I said, than it actually is. It's actually very dim, and you can just barely see in the camera the truck there that's illuminated. I can see that a little bit better. So now if I turn on the fog lights, so that's the fogs. Obviously very, very nice there. Back off, back on. You guys can't see as well as I can. Obviously the camera doesn't pick it up, but the tree that's just past that boat there is almost fully lit up. The stop sign is pretty well lit up. I'm not pointed towards, there's some vehicles all the way down the end of the street and down a pretty far driveway where their reflectors are lit up. So you turn the headlights back off, it goes into daytime running mode. Fog lights, no fog lights. Get out and look at them here. So the fogs are on. Like I said, the camera's doing a really poor job of actually defining the light characteristics of the headlights. To me, the headlights are pretty dim. I'm actually replacing those. Same with the fog lights. I'm going to end up replacing those. But from where I'm standing, the fog lights are bright, but they're not as bright as they are on camera. They're actually clearly defined. You can see all four of the beams. So that works out pretty well. Here. Try to cut all that out, but maybe not. So, for anybody that's interested, real quick reference shot of the OSLAP 12-inch. Here's the high beams. Yeah. I've actually got them aimed almost straight out, and they go pretty far with their spots, but fog lights just by themselves do a pretty excellent job. So that concludes the video. Would I recommend this product? I definitely recommend it. There's a few other companies that are doing the same thing. Extreme Bright LEDs, I think, is the other company that has a similarly priced fog light set that's purportedly a little bit brighter. They're more of the OSLAMP style, which if you look at an OSLAMP LED strip on Amazon, it's an LED that's basically magnified, so it has a magnification set in front of it, whereas these Tuff Stuffs don't. Now Tuff Stuff did send me an email saying that they came out with a brighter version, but from what I could tell, it's the same version that Extreme Bright LEDs has. Like I said, all these lights come from China, probably from the same factory and manufacturer, if I had to guess. They are saying they're Cree LED bulbs. I'm not saying they're not, but I've looked on Cree's website. I'm not sure which particular version they would be, because Cree doesn't specifically list one that would match the output characteristics of these lights. So my recommendation, definitely would buy them for the illumination, but definitely shop around, look at different companies. I've tried to avoid anything, the eBay ones where they're just generic Chinese. I mean, they're probably the same and they're probably fine, but the companies that are based here in America tend to offer a warranty. For them, it's probably nothing. Replace a light probably doesn't cost them much, but since they offer a warranty, I tend to buy from them, even if they're a little more expensive. But just the peace of mind of having a warranty. I haven't tried to use that warranty yet, so who knows, it might not be worth spending that money, but for me, just makes it a little bit more of a conscious decision. So that concludes my review of the Tuff Stuff LED Flood 900 lumen lights.